In 2019, I was pregnant with our third baby, and I'd been meeting with a friend each morning at dawn to pray, and my friend nicknamed this baby in my womb as my glory baby. At 20 weeks, we were booked in for the gender scan, and then it turned out that day I actually gave birth to my baby sleeping. She'd passed a few weeks earlier, and we were unsure if we'd be able to identify her physically as a girl or as a boy. The night before giving birth, I didn't sleep and spent the whole night in our living room just praying and grieving and worshipping as well. And in my heart, I just asked God, is it a girl or is it a boy? And he said, girl. And then my next question was, what's her name? And I just felt Jesus tell me Birdie. And so we called her Birdie Love. The next day I was heading in and we went in to have our baby to give birth to Birdie. And I just had my worship on in my ears and God surrounded both Aaron and myself. As I gave birth to Birdie, the song that was playing, it actually sang the words, hallelujah, he has conquered death, hallelujah, he has conquered death and he reigns. In our grief, Aaron and I felt Jesus very closely. It was almost a weird combination of grief and pain and joy. We felt joy even in the midst of having Birdie and letting her go. The psalms and worship and people around us were our lifelines, and God also gave us telegrams from heaven. So one friend, she had a vision, and that vision was Birdie standing in front of Jesus, and Jesus had a ring on his finger, and the ring was encrusted with jewels, and he took off the ring and he put it on Birdie's head, and it was her crown. A few weeks later, I remember I was sitting at the table and I said, Lord, telegrams are awesome, but I'd love a picture. And then my mum actually drew the vision that my friend had seen of Jesus with Birdie. So God met us in the midst of our grief, in the midst of our pain. God was very much there, and his love was very much there, and she really was my glory baby.
As a young man, I was an angry, impatient, pretty self-centred young fella. Although self-centred, I really wanted to serve God. I really had a heart to serve God. But I didn't realise at the time that he needed to do some work with me. When I was about 18 or 17, I met my now wife Fiona, who was 14, and we married when she was 18. And we'd planned this amazing life for ourselves where everything was going to go perfectly and we were going to just be a classic happy family. What we didn't know was that God had some moulding and some remodelling of me particularly to do. And so we had a few circumstances in our marriage that God used to remake me, remould me, and make me someone more like someone he could use. We started by having fertility problems, and we never conceived children of our own, and we were 11 years before we adopted a child. And then our second child was, as about 2-year-old, diagnosed with autism. And at the time, we asked lots of questions of God, and asked him why, and why would all these things happen to us? And we'd planned so much better for ourselves, so we thought. But during the course of working through these things, and the tears and the pain and the heartache, there was always a sense that God was alongside of us, always a sense that he was there with us through it. He wasn't punishing us for anything, but he was alongside us. And we gradually, or I particularly gradually, changed my thinking to realise that I couldn't control circumstances, that I had a God who was much greater than I was, and he was shaping me through my experiences. It's only in hindsight, as we look back and we see just how much he loves us and cares for us and wants to be alongside us through everything, through all the hardship, through all the things that we wouldn't write into our own script. He allowed things to happen that would mould us and make us the people that he wanted us to be. And in looking back, I so appreciate that God has made me someone who he can use and someone whose experiences can be used, and just a moulder and a maker of the people that he wants.